this is what you have, this is what I have,
Canadian
and then
people,
let's get
Canadian
together,
people, Canadian people like to talk about equity all the time. So that's the thing. But c'était une autre parenthèse. C'était une autre
Yeah,
parenthèse.
fermons la parenthèse. Yes.
I would like to dig in our topic today, which is
Yes.
finance.
Okay.
So do you think financial success is really about working hard, or it's more about understanding how money works?
Oh, that's a good question. But first of all, what is a financial success? Financial success is not just like, okay, it depends on people values. It depends on how you see things in life. So one person can tell you, my financial success is to buy a house, to make it a home, have my family, live, and then keep on going. That's one person vision. Another person saying, for me, financial success, I have to be financially free. I have to not worry about any money. Like, okay, I can have, I don't know, 600 apartments which bring me monthly payments, which I don't have to work. So it depends on how you see things. But what I would say is financial success is not only about working hard. Financial success is understanding how money works. And then for me, that's my point of view, right? Understanding how money works and make that money work for you. And for you to understand how money works, you have to work. You have to work hard to get to make that money work for you. So I would say it's not only about working hard, but it's about understanding how the money function, take control of it, and then make the money work for you.
So how would you describe how money works? So what do you mean by how money works? Yeah.
So
because you said like it's more about understanding how money works, right? So how does money work?
Yes, so I can go with examples. I can go with facts. Understanding how money works is not like there's no magic in it. There's no magic in it. Let's say, first of all, we have to be able to make enough money for you to build your life where you see in yourself, right? Let's say I know my passion, for example, is in photography. I love photography. That's something I can do at night. You can wake me up at 2 a.m. Let's go take some pictures of, okay, right, let's go. But I know I cannot just go ahead and then get myself, that's an example, hypothetical example, right? Get myself $100,000 student loan to go study digital media because I know photography is my passion. No. So for me, understanding how the money works is like, I know my passion is photography, but I need to make money to build my passion. So I go ahead, find a major that will make me money, that will help me make money. And then with that money, I will build my dream. So I'll give another example of understanding how the money works. I know that, let's say, someone is 30 years old. I'm 30 years old today. I want to be able to say, okay, I can retire in 2 years, in 3 years. By the time I'm 45, so I have 15 years. I say 15 years, what do? I work hard the first 2 years. Let's say if you work 5 months and you make an income, right? You're able to, if you're able to save 20% of your income, in 5 months, you will generate a double income. You know what I mean? Make $1,000 a month, right?
Yeah.
I save $200 every month. On the 6th month, I will have $1,000 in my savings. So I just doubled my capacity of purchase, of buying. Am I being clear, right?
Yeah.
So when I do that, let's say I do that in 2 years, every 6 months. In 2 years, I have 6 months by times 4, right? So I double my capacity, my buying capacity by 4. So in 6 months, I can easily purchase something that worth my salary times 4. So let's say in 2 years, I save enough money. I invest in real estate, for example. Buy my first condo. My condo, I buy it 2020. I buy a condo, $200,000, right? So after 1 or 2 years, I'm still keeping my ways of savings, right? I'm saving on 20%. After 2 years,
So
I
that
go
one,
and check.
you're assuming that the person ain't got no debt
No, I'm assuming that the person is living on I don't know I forget how you say it, but he's living on
on
you
budget.
yeah, on budget. Like 10% of my salary goes to my tithe. The other 20% it goes to my savings. 20% I invest, and 50% that's my expenses. Because as a small person, you should now have expenses that covers 80% of your salary. You know what I'm saying, right? So I make $1,000 a month. I put $100 to my tithe. I put $100 to my investment. I put $200 to my savings. That's 50% of my salary, and then the remaining 50, I keep it for my expenses. You know, that's the ideal way of budgeting. I'm not saying everyone is able to do that, but I'm saying that's the ideal way. You know, if
Are you
you
talking
are
about with which economy, like this nowadays economies or the old ones? Because nowadays everything's are expensive, right?
yeah,
So
everything's expensive
you
nowadays, but we
and
should
then
be
people are
able
not
to.
really getting paid enough to like
Yeah.
survive, right? So for someone to be able to survive with 50% of the salary, it's very rare unless you're really making that money. So what I
Okay.
mean by making that money, over 100,000 or maybe close to that.
Okay.
But I'll give you,
Let's go. Let's go to math. Let's go to math. For example, you live in Georgia, right? Tell me what's the average salary, the minimum wage in Georgia?
I think it's 54,000 or 50,000. Just let's do 50,000.
50,000 a year.
Yeah.
So roughly, you take home about $32,000 after tax and deduction, right?
No, no, per month or per?
No, a year. A year.
Oh, yeah. If you pay your taxes like that, because some other people just don't be paying them taxes like that. But yeah.
Oh my God. So
I know. I'm a tax preparer,
okay,
so I
yeah,
know a
I
lot of
understand.
people who's been using exempt and then
Yes.
hoping to get money back at the end of
I
the year.
understand that, but we're not gonna go get deeper into details. But let's say, let's take the ideal way. I'm talking about the idea. Not saying that that's what everybody does. That's what everybody should do. I'm saying if you are able to do that, right? Because we're talking about financial literacy. We're talking about making your money work for you. So you gotta work hard. If your salary is not enough today, go get another job. Go get a second job. You have to bring your salary up so that you're able to be. It depends. Again, I say that's how people want to live, right? So let's say you wanna live better tomorrow, prepare today, right? So you save enough, you bought your first purchase, you saved enough, and after 2 years your purchase build up some equity. Let's say you have I don't know, $100,000 equity in 2 years on your property. That equity, you can use it to invest on the second property.
Percentage, yeah.
Now you start making your money work for you. Why? Because that
I think
positive equity that
you are jumping a lot of steps, right?
no
Before getting there are so many steps because I'm talking
Uh,
for the American, either Canadian people, right? The average debt in America, or let's start with credit card, is $10,000, right? So that being said, most people do have debt. For them to just start saving like this, they have, because you won't be able to invest, because you're talking about saving and investment.
Mm.
In order for you to be able to invest like that, you have to pay off your debt, because I believe you won't be able to invest as much. People should start with first paying off the debt, mainly the credit cards, because these are the ones that that really hit you hard if you don't pay it off. Then at the same time you're paying off your debt, you have to make sure you have that money. You have some money on the side, which is called, a lot of people will call it emergency. So if maybe your car breaks down or something like that, or some type of emergency that you might have, and then I would
Yes.
advise people to have at least $2,000 as emergency. That's a very minimum, $2,000. But you keep on saving that money on the side, and then that money you can just put it on the high heel saving account. That way you can get some more, some interest from it. But
Oh,
the first thing first before investing, is to pay off your credit card debt.
no. When I said start making money for you, I went to, yes, you said you're right. I probably skip some steps, but for you to start thinking, even for invest in the future, those are the baby steps you need to do. You need to do first, like avoid credit card debt. And I mean, probably I'm thinking different, but I don't see it. The credit card. Okay, let's get into deep to this.
You
So
want to do
you
some
need
math?
to.
Okay.
No. There's no need to do math. There's no need to do math.
Okay.
For you to understand, for you to have to prep well your future, you need to understand how the system works. And then the credit card system, I would say you should never buy money. You should never buy something with your credit card if you don't have that money in your debit. You use the credit card to build your history, to build your record, but you don't use it because that's money that you don't have, and then you use it to buy something. So for someone who has a credit card debt of $10,000, that's already a mistake that happened at some point somewhere. Why? Because why have you been purchasing things that you don't have money for? How the credit cards should work. That's what I believe, and I think it works. I have $1,000 in my account. I have a credit card of $6,000. I want to buy a pair of shoes that cost $500. I look at my account. I have the $500. I look at my credit card. I have the money. I buy with my credit card. And then when the time is due, or 2 days before it's due, once I get the statement, that's when I use the money I already had in my account to pay that. Why? Because that's how the system works. That's how the system wants you to use the credit card. So if you
I don't
have
agree with you on that. I don't think
no,
that's how the system wants you to use the credit card. That's how it should be used. But I think the system is putting credit cards out there
yeah, the
because they
system
wanna get the money from you, and
the
then
system is a bit evil. The system is a bit
yeah.
evil. Yes, I agree with you on that. It says statistically speaking, an average American spends $1.55 out of every dollar that American makes. They spend $1.55. That's why if you look at the national debt today is about $33 trillion. Why? Because we spend more than what we make. So we came in this country. We were not born here. We have different values. So me, from what I understood on how it should work, ideally, you spend on your credit card for something you already have money in your debit for. Because the money in your debit account is your money. It's money that you can take out anytime and then use for your family back home, use for any emergency. And then you talk about emergency. Emergency fund should be at least 6 months of your expenses. of your living expenses. If your living expenses cost you $1,000, you have to have minimum $6,000 in your emergency fund. Yes, you mentioned that's at least minimum, but ideally, that's what the emergency fund is. Like, let's say you were to lose your job today, you will be able to live 6 months. In 6 months, you can be capable of finding a different job and then start generating income. So I am with you on the point where the system is evil. The system is evil in the sense where it's not helping people make better decisions on finances, but that doesn't mean that we should not learn how the system works well and then make it work for us, because there are people who get rich while others are still getting poor. Why do you think is that? Because they probably understood something that other people didn't know. So I'm saying, like, if you find yourself with a debt of $10,000 in your credit card, you gotta realize that, okay, I am broke. I need to stop spending until I finish this debt. Because
Okay.
you can't have it,
I think I
you
may
know?
have a different opinion on that one because
Yes.
think
Okay, tell me what's your opinion, because people might be interested in your opinion. What's your opinion?
exactly my opinion. I'm for the people, so
Mhm,
I'm for the people always.
mhm,
So I think that in life things may happen that you didn't plan to, and then at the
mhm,
time maybe you didn't have no money and you had to use a credit card. It doesn't mean that it was about you buying like something for yourself, but it could have been hospital bills, or it could have
mhm,
been school fees, or
mhm,
those kind of stuff, right?
mhm.
So it's not always something that you have to buy for yourself to show up or show off.
Okay.
It could be something that's really emergency, but at the time, I'll give you an example. Some of us who came here, we had the opportunity to go to school and then
Mm,
study and maybe get, a good job or
mm,
a decent job. But some other people who come here a little bit later, they don't have the opportunity to go to school
mm,
directly, so they're forced to work in the warehouse,
mm,
because they might not, they don't know the language. So
mm.
that's the easier way for them. They have families back there in Africa. At the same time, they have to support themselves here. So let's say something were to happen back there, and then all the money that you had, you send it back there. No, you're living on your credit card. You ain't got no choice at that time. It's not like you had a choice, right? That's the system. The system put the credit card out there because they understand that people will go through some difficult times. That's why I'm here to talk for the people. I understand y'all,
Okay.
but you have to make sure. What I always tell them, you have to make sure to not overuse it. So even if you get to 10,000, then just make sure that you pay it off, or you get an extra job or another source of income where you can pay that off as soon as you can. Because when those interest builds up, it's just going to hit you. So you're gonna pay even double, even more than what you're supposed to be paying.
Okay.
So that's why I don't agree with you, because you're trying to blame everybody who has.
No, I am not blaming.
Uh,
Look, wait, I am not blaming. Maybe I didn't
that's
make
how you
myself.
sounded.
Wait. Okay, let me make it clear. Look,
Okay.
like what the Bible tells us. Mon peuple périt faute de connaissance. Mon peuple périt faute de connaissance.
Par manque de
Like, my
connaissances.
people die from lack of knowledge. My
Mm.
people die from lack of knowledge. I don't know if I did the exact translation, but what I'm saying is what? It's not because, yes, I understand. Things happen. Family happens, situation happens, things that we don't have control. But to say that I didn't have a choice, that is being lazy and blaming on the system. Why am I saying that? If I know something happened, I have to help. I will help. But because I took the decision to take the money and help, I need to find out the way of paying that money. If I have to work extra jobs, I will work extra jobs. We went to school studying full time and then working 2 jobs full time. Why is it like that? Is it because we wanted to? No, because you know You knew that you had a plan. You knew that you had a goal to reach. That's why you worked yourself hard to get to your goal. So what I'm saying is that is what for Monsieur, Madame, tout le monde who just came into the in the America, United States, you have to ask yourself questions like, okay, God has sent me here. What is my purpose here? Once I find my purpose, then how things works here. That's also a part of integration, a part of getting to know where you are. You know, I'll tell you, you're not gonna deny this. There are people who've been in the US 10, 15 years, but they still don't speak English. You cannot blame on the system. You know, I know it's hard. I know it's hard. I know it's not easy, but it's not impossible. Because while we are blaming on the system, other people the same age as us who are 50, 60, I know people who are 60 and they're learning English. You know people who are 60 learning English. Our parents, they came here, they 60, 65, 70, but they're learning English and they're getting to speak. Why do you think is that? Because God has sent you somewhere. You get somewhere, I have to find out what is my purpose here. Once you define what is your purpose, and then you get to educate yourself. I don't mean just go to school. Know the system, know how things works. Know how things works. Even people who works at the warehouse. There are people who works at the warehouse, but they were able to save enough and buy a house. It's not because I work at the warehouse that means that I am condemned
Buying
to
a house in
just.
US, it's different than buying a house back home.
No, I'm saying here in US, here.
That's what I'm saying, because here you don't buy a house cash. So
Exactly.
which means you can
So
just go out there if you have a decent credit score, and then you have like about $1,500
exactly.
on your savings, just $1,500 in your savings, you can
So
easily get a house and then be
now
paying that off in a 30 years
now you're
mortgage
getting
plan.
to my point. Now you're getting to my point. When I say I get somewhere, I need to educate myself about that place. I need to find out what is my purpose there and then make myself better for the future. You know, it doesn't mean that I have to make millions right away. No. It means I have to start somewhere. I have to know the system because I realized something when I moved here in Canada. People will tell you, don't ever get a mortgage. You're going to get it 25 years of debt. But those same people, they've been living in the apartment, they're renting $1,200, $1,300 for years. But that money they've been renting, if they had bought the housing, they would have even finished their payment. You know? So it means like we need to live from the mindset of where we came from because that's not the same system. It's two different systems. There it's socialist. Here we are in the capitalism system. It's different. So you cannot
So
have the same thinking.
yeah, I agree with
You
you
know?
with that, because I understand that a lot of
For the first time you agree with me now.
yeah, I know, the Congolese, or I would say African community, they're close-minded, even here in Georgia where I'm at.
Exactly. You have to
So
be
people
open-minded.
people don't want to evolve. So they just want to stick with the way of doing stuff, the old ways. And then I always tell them, when you get somewhere, trying to adapt and overcome to the situation what you're getting in there, because if you do not adapt to how things works in US, it's going to be very hard for you to evolve